I loved motorcycles, and I think it was back in about 68, 69, something like that. I had just been transferred down into the mountains down there I was assistant superintendent of this youth camp.
In North Carolina, was this?
No, this was in New York.
Oh,
it was
New
in the
York.
Catskill Mountains of New York,
okay.
actually,
Okay.
and youth camp was way up on top of the mountain. But I used to ride the bike in the summertime up there, but the winter times in New York you had to put your bike away, and so I put mine in the basement of my house. And one day it came spring, and I was waiting for this day all winter long, and I went down there and took the dust cover off, waiting for my son to come home, and he didn't come home that day. Well, he said, "Where are you going?" I said, just to look at my bike down there. And I should have told her I was going to take it out, but I didn't. So finally I got tired of waiting, and I had this stairway that went right out into my backyard, a hatchway like it opened up and the stairs went on. I had 2 stairs into my basement. So I went and got some boards and planks and laid them down on the stairs, and I was going to ride my bike out. And as soon as I fired that thing up, it rumbling in the house. My wife come downstairs waving her arms and hollering and screaming. I had to turn the bike off. I said, "What's the matter?" She says, "If you try riding that out of there, I'm going to divorce you," she says. She was all upset, so I had to wait. And my son finally come home and helped me get the bike out. And I went in, gave her a little kiss on the cheek, and said,
The wife, not the bike.
Yeah, the wife. I kissed the bike before. I had waited all winter to take that baby out.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went up on the hill, and it's called Quail Hollow Road. It's the road I went up. Went up on top of the mountain. The only thing, it was a curvy road, and there's a couple, 3 farms up there. And way up on top of the mountain, the guy was up there making maple syrup. And so when I got up there, it was late in the afternoon by the time I got there. I had intended to take a longer ride, but I stopped and started talking to this farmer making the maple syrup. And I talked too long. And so when I came outside, it was pitch black. And I noticed that on the road, I mean, the lights on the bike wasn't working very well, and we must have knocked it when we come out of the basement, and it was pointing right in front of the bike. But I got on, and I promised her I'd be home for supper, but I broke my word again. So I kind of was pouring the coals to the bike and was going down this road, and I knew it pretty well, but I just couldn't see where I was with the light shining like it was. And I realized the road had come down, and it took a right angle where they had blasted out the shale rock, and it was about a 30-foot rock wall right in front of me. And on my right side there was a barn over there, and when I recognized where I was, I slammed on the brakes, but I was doing probably 50 to 60 miles an hour, and when I slammed the brakes on, nothing happened. It just started sliding. I didn't know it then, but that farmer, when I was up the hill, the farmer had come out with his manure wagon and had spilled that kind of liquid manure all over the road, and it was just like trying to stop on grease. I laid my bike down the best I could on the side, and I screamed at the top of my voice, "Jesus!" Like I just screamed that word out. I knew I was going to die. I was sliding, and as soon as the bike hit the side, the mud on the side of the road, it stood up, and I could feel myself coming off of the seat, being thrown off. And just then, I felt this pressure on the top of my head, right on the helmet, pushing me back onto the bike. And the next thing I know, I was headed north when this all happened, and I was headed east. On the other side of the barn, probably 50 feet on the other direction going, and I just started to shake. My interpretation, I don't know, I didn't see anything, I just felt that pressure on the top of my head. I feel it was an angel. When I hollered Jesus, he was right there pressing me back on the bike. He must have moved me. He must have picked me up and placed me on the road, because I was on my own side of the road going down. I don't know how I got there, but that was it. That was that.
That was a quick answer to prayer.
That was the quickest. That was.
I mean, so you're sliding. You're about to die. You scream Jesus. You hit the edge. The bike rights itself, and something pushes you onto the bike. And the next thing you know, you're going down the hill past the rock ledge.
Yeah, I had made that, and it's impossible. I mean, physically, you're going at that force in one direction. You can't change directions and be 50 feet the other way.
Yeah.
It just and all this happened in the length of a few seconds, and but that was the shortest prayer and the most sincere prayer I ever cried. But that's what happened to it.
Yeah.